Hi, this is the Trade Ideas Market Recap for Tuesday, March the 18th. My name is Barry Anderson, and I'm the moderator of the trading room. This is the address to get into the trading room, and you can log in as a guest or use your Facebook or your Twitter account to log in. Let me bring up the charts right away, and let me put, that's the wrong one to start, so let me just put this one up to start. Now, before I get into this, though, the last few days have been a little bit frustrating for me because I've only been really able to find what I call scalp trades in which you can maybe hope to get 15, 20, maybe 25 cents out of the trade. There's been very little follow through that I've seen, certainly in the ones that I have been trading. Or the types of situations that I like to trade. Look at this. This is my custom setup, and you can see I only had two. The green ones are sort of the primo setups. Not that they would have been very good today, but I only had two, and look how late they were, 113 and 319, and that is almost unheard of for me. I actually cannot remember a day in which I only had two alerts, and the alerts came so late. And I actually even relaxed a couple of the filters in here in order to see if I could get anything. So that just goes to for me anyway. The types of strategies I like to trade, they're sort of few and far between right now. But at any rate, let me go over a couple of the things, or three of the trades that I did take today, or at least that I posted in the room. Now, the first one was CHH. And this one, okay, we got right here is the pre-market. And this was one of those secondaries that I like to follow. And the secondary was announced, and basically the secondary is just that the company has announced the financing, they're raising money, they're issuing shares. So obviously they're diluting everybody's position, and if you're an existing shareholder, you hate that. And so this is where it closed yesterday, and this is where it opened this morning. So again, 99 out of 100 times the stock is always going to open lower for sure, and in the short term, and it could get hit fairly hard in the short term. But why I like to watch these is because I've been noticing that a lot of them will bounce intraday. That once the shock is over of the financing, and as long as the financing wasn't done for reasons that the company is literally going broke, and this is the only way they can get money, then a lot of times the stocks will rebound. Now, this was kind of what I would call a bit of a revenge trade because unfortunately, I'll go back to it, but unfortunately, I missed out on this one. Now, this was another financing. This was YY, and here's where it closed yesterday. And then they announced the financing, and it opened a lot lower today. And you can see what happened in the first. These are 5 minute candles. So in the first half an hour or so, it sort of hung in this area, and I was waiting for a break. And look what happened. I mean, not only did it break, it got all the way back to positive, and it tacked on about $4. That's the good news. The bad news is that I didn't take the trade. And the reason is that the spread was so bad, it was 60, 70, 80 cents at some points. I just could not bring myself into taking the trade. And again, a mistake. I've said this before that a person should do is even if you only take 50 or 100 shares and try to hang on a little bit, get in the game at least. But I just didn't do it. I just couldn't pull the trigger on it. So CHH CHH was another, again, was the financing, and so I got in here as it broke above this little pullback area here, and I got in at 46.57, but it did basically nothing. These are all 5 minute candles, so for half an hour it really, or even longer, did nothing. And I got out of the trade at 46.54 in this area here. One of my rules of thumb is that if I get into a trade on, say, a 5 minute candle, then if it hasn't done anything in three or four candles, if it's just sort of remaining in an area and not doing anything, then whatever I'm seeing, nobody else is seeing. And so I tend to want to get out of the trade as quickly as I can right after that. And that's basically what I did. So I took a small loss on that. And the next trade I did was LKQ. Now this was a bounce play. This came in one of my bounce alerts, and I was alerted right around this area here, and I was told the room about it, of course. And we watched it go down through here, and I said that if it got above this area, these two candles, so after it moved down and then started to come back up, I said that if I got in over this candle, these two candles here, I would get in, and that's exactly what I did. I entered the trade at 25.83, but as you can see, it also did absolutely nothing after that, and I exited the trade at 25.73. So it took a 10-cent loss there. Again, not a lot of follow through, certainly on that one. Now, the next one I did was GTAT, and now this one came from, this is my 20-day high strategy in which I'm looking for stocks to break their 20-day high. Now, there are other filters in place that have to be met, but the trigger will be when the stock goes above its 20-day high. And GTAT's 20-day high was 1802. So I received that trigger right in this area here, and I took the trade at 1805. And I took half out at 1845 and the other half at 1830. So not a bad trade, 40 cents on half and 25 on the other on an $18 stock. So that wasn't too bad. However, I have to say that I was a little ticked at myself because I didn't take the excuse me, the Microsoft trade. And you can see again here is Microsoft, and it triggered over its 20-day high at 38.48. So right in this area here on this first 5-minute candle. And now I didn't take the trade because I think well, I know why. I had a bias against Microsoft. I just didn't think that it would have the trading range that it did today. And I thought it would probably maybe just stall in this area. And with the hundreds of millions of shares that Microsoft has out, I just did not expect this expansion of the range. And I mean, it tacked on over $1 from my trigger point all the way to the high. So definitely was that one definitely was one that I missed, and I guess in retrospect, obviously should have taken it. And I suppose if I get something like this again for a stock that I don't think will have that sort of a range, at least I should take some shares just to see what would happen. And the other stock do want to talk about FMC because this was another one of the bounce plays. Now I didn't take this one, but I did alert the room to the fact that this was a bounce play and we should start watching it. We started watching it right there, and I wanted to take this right above this red candle here. This was the last red candle in this leg down anyway, and I wanted to take if one of these green candles had closed above it, I was going to take the trade, and that didn't happen. But as it moved back down again, and it held the whole number, it didn't. It got down to 78.16 or 14, and it kind of bounced off this level. And one of the posters in the room actually said that it would take the trade at 78.44, which is right above this red candle here, right above the top of it. And that poster did, and perhaps a few others. Now, I didn't. Again, I was probably unduly influenced by the previous trade that had chopped around on me, and I just didn't have the confidence today to take the trade. Obviously, a mistake because it almost tacked on another dollar from from the entry point up to 79.28. So it was a good trade by several of the posters, and but so I was glad to at least point out the fact that this was something that everybody should be watching. Now, the last thing I just want to go over is OCLS. Now, let me bring in the daily chart on OCLS. And you see that it has had, this is the third day, this is today. And so it's had three good days, including today. Now, one of the reasons is, at least I believe one of the reasons is that it has a 48% interest in a stock called RTGN. And RTGN, it's Ralph, Tom, George, Norman, is supposed to be doing an IPO tomorrow. And again, so they have a 48% interest in it. And this stock, OCLS, only has about I think a $36 million market cap. So it's a very small stock, not very many shares outstanding at all. And so with a 48% interest in this particular issue, again, RTGN, that's supposed to be IPOing tomorrow, the IPO, if I can't remember the exact price it's supposed to be coming out, but I think I read that as long as it holds in, let's just say it's between 7 and 9. So if it held at the midpoint, say $8, that OCLS's stake in that would be about $16 million based on the number of shares and the IPO price. So, it only has a $36 million market cap right now, and to add $16 million to its treasury would be, pretty, would be something. So, I don't know if that has already been built into the price right now, but I'm certainly going to watch it tomorrow, and I'm going to watch RTGN just to see what happens. So that's it for today in terms of the shares traded and the stocks I wanted to talk about. So again, hope to see you in the room tomorrow. This is the address to come in, and good trading on Wednesday.